congratulations, all of you. This is pretty exciting. It's our third year doing it. That sign does not lie. This is the third annual contest here. And before we get started, well, we're getting started, but before we really get started, I just want to shout out a few thank yous, okay? Because a ton went into this, right? You guys wrote some really awesome essays, and there's judges that read some really great essays, but grading 1,500 essays, organizing all of that grading, tabulating and scoring and raising $15,000 and making sure that, you know, it went relatively smoothly was the combined effort of a lot of people. So I want to thank a few of them right now. The first, and as we all know, the most important is Molly Gebler, who's sitting over here. Molly is the Molly is going to talk in a few seconds, but she is the executive director of the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce and my partner in crime, and also my co-host in the Best Podcast Ever. That's what it's called. It's called Best Podcast Ever. Look it up and listen to it because it's awesome. And Molly and I do that every Monday. But Molly helped me start this contest 3 years ago when it seemed like a kind of just an interesting, curious idea. It was going to be this little thing that we did for like 4th and 5th graders at Kenston. That's where my kids went to school at the time, 4th and 5th grade. And then Molly and I were talking, and then we started talking to the principals at Kenston and Chagrin Falls, and they were like, well, we want to do this at our entire high school. And that's how it all started. And along the way, we kept doubling it, and people kept saying, well, you can't really pull this off. And as most people who know me know, whenever I hear that, I just want to do it. And so that's what we did, and we kept doubling it. Now we had 1,500 essays submitted this year. We have the 34 top essay writers here. That's the top 2% of those essay writers right here. Anyway, so Molly is the better half of this combination. Also want to thank Jeff Hoffman. Jeff is going to talk in a few minutes. Jeff has been here from the very beginning. Jeff is a serial entrepreneur. He goes around the world talking to students and business people from third world countries and first and second world countries and teaches them how to be better entrepreneurs. You can't be next to Jeff while he's talking and not get smarter. So I'm telling you, that's not an exaggeration, right? Thank you, Jeff. Jeff was our final round judge in the first 2 years that we did this contest. And this year we had 34 finalists, and we didn't want to make Jeff read 34 essays. So we got a bunch of you other fine folks to help Jeff out. Jeff and Molly are part of an advisory board that we created for the contest. The other 2 members of the advisory board are Councilman Paul Marnichek from the fine village or city of North Royalton. City Councilman Paul Marnichek. 3rd term or 4th term? 5th term councilman, running again this year, right?
Last year.
Ran last year, I don't know what I'm telling you. All right, anyway. And then Julie Conrad is around here somewhere. There she is, Julie Conrad from Julie Conrad Communications. Julie is a PR consultant, and she's also on our advisory board. And Paul and Julie and Jeff and Molly have been here, like I said, from day one, back when this was just the germ of an idea that most people thought couldn't really take off. The most important person, even more important than all of us, is right there. That's Nellie Gertsburg. So most of you know that really Nellie runs this entire operation, right? Most of you have interacted with Nellie at some point. If you're a judge or a sponsor, you definitely interacted with her. I don't know where she gets the energy or the time or the inspiration or the attention, but she has been really keeping this thing together. And like I said, there are so many moving parts. There's so much that has to happen in the background, and none of it happens without Nellie. So thank you, Nellie, for being so awesome. We have, like I said, we've raised $15,000, right? By the end of tonight, we will have given away $38,000 to students and schools that participated in this contest over the last 3 years. You can clap. You really can't do that unless you have sponsors. So there were 26 sponsors this year. I'm not going to go through all their names. Look in your packet there, and you'll get their names. But the few that I really need to call out here, aside from the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce, is Smartland. You'll hear from Vadim Kleyner up here. He'll be presenting later. Burntwood Tavern, all that food out there. Burntwood totally donated to the cause today. Thank you, Burntwood Tavern. First Energy, North Coast Auto Mall, Motor Cars, Honda, and Toyota. Just those 5 or 6 folks that I just mentioned, those companies, gave to this contest anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000. So it's a lot of money, and that added up. And then there were another 20 sponsors behind them. We have also a number of prizes that we're going to give away to these guys that are not cash prizes, but are pretty cool. So Toshiba is donating 4 brand new laptops. So the runner-up in each grade is getting a brand new Toshiba laptop. Big Frog T-shirts is donating T-shirts, so all of you guys will have a coupon. You go there and you get a really cool shirt that says "The pen is mightier than the sword." It's a pretty cool shirt. You should get it. One for everyone here. For everyone here. Oh, for every.
I think everyone picked up their coupons.
Oh, that's right.
If you didn't get it on your way out, there's a T-shirt for everybody. You just have to run.
See what I mean? Nellie Gertsburg. Everybody here gets a really cool T-shirt. You just have to get your coupon and take it to Big Frog. So thank you, Big Frog. The neighborhood office, they printed off all of those placards that you saw out there in the lobby, and then they also printed off these giant checks that we're going to hand out. They really came through in a pinch. Carrie Hepner and the programs just totally last minute really saved our you-know-whats. So thanks to them. Thank you, Representative Marlene Anielski from the 6th Ohio District. Do I have that right? Who's here and was a final round judge and has been a big supporter of the contest, and we're a big supporter of her. Dustin from Governor Kasich's office is here. Thank you, Dustin. Dustin will be up here presenting an award and a proclamation from Governor Kasich. The judges. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. If this was a jury trial, I would be a lot more organized, I promise. Katie from Congressman Dave Joyce's office is here. Thank you to the Congressman. So over 200 judges, was it 240 judges? 230 judges read all of your essays and all of the other essays that were submitted, right? So 1,500 essays, and here's the thing about it, not all of them were that good, right? A lot of your friends just kind of mailed it in, you know? And, but they all have to be read, and in the first round, they had to be read multiple times, right? So the way it worked was, in that first round, the first round was a go or no-go round, right? And the point of this contest is to help train the students and then evaluate them on their problem-solving skills and on their communication skills. And so they were graded on 5 categories that generally fell into those 2 buckets, right? In that first round, at least 2 judges had to agree that the essay satisfied 4 out of 5 categories in that scorecard. If 2 judges did not agree, then it went to a 3rd judge, right? So 1,500 essays had to be read either 2 or 3 times by a lot of judges who, like I said, a lot of times weren't reading the best essays. We have to thank all of them. A number of you are here. I'm going to not mention all of your names, but thank you all for reading essays and making this possible. It really couldn't happen without you. There are some judges that I'm going to mention, right? So I mentioned Representative Marlene Anielski. Vadim Kleyner from Smartland was so these were the final round judges. So after the first round, they went to a second round where they were actually scored, and then there was a final round. And the final round was where you looked at just their essays and decided which one scored the highest, right? So 34 essays had to be read now by several final round judges, and we got like, I mean, this is a VIP list of judges here, right? So Jeff Hoffman, I mentioned, the advisory board, all 4 of us read essays, or 5 of us, I guess. U.S. Congressman David Joyce, Congresswoman Marcia Fudge, the director of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association, Becky McMahon, Brandon Krastowski, founder of EDWINS Leadership and Restaurant Institute, Sara Shookman from WKYC read essays, right? So we had kind of like the who's who of Cleveland all deciding which essays were the best. So that was a pretty cool thing. Thank you all for doing that, all of you final round judges. Then I definitely need to thank Chagrin Falls High School for letting us use their digs here and their auditorium and their lobby. So Bob Hunt, I think, is at a board meeting and will come here later, but tell him I said thanks, all right? Text him, thank you, yeah. So we started with 7 schools: Orange, Kenston, Chagrin Falls, Newberry, Brecksville, Broadview Heights, and Aurora, and Beechwood. Beechwood dropped off for reasons that are a mystery to me, and so we're left with 6 schools. And I'm just going to go through this list because the people at those schools really allowed this to happen in their schools and really championed this program, right? So a giant thank you to Superintendent Nancy Santilli, Principal Tom Gabram, and English teacher Tony Marchese from Kenston, Superintendent Bob Hunt, and Principal Melanie Hoffman from Chagrin Falls. From Brecksville, Broadview Heights, Principal Steve Ost and English teacher Todd Goodman. From Aurora, Dr. Paul Milsetich, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, is the principal, and Melissa Lindley, English teacher from Aurora. From Newberry, Michelle Mrakovich, superintendent, and English teacher Michelle Benson. So thank you all for riding along this crazy ride with us and letting us keep doing this. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So, I will try to be brief, which is difficult for litigators to do, but I'm going to try anyway. So, like I said, the genesis of this contest was the idea that there are 2 really important skills that you need to acquire ideally before you leave high school, right? Problem solving and communicating. It wasn't until law school for me that I really synthesized those 2 into one skill that I knew intuitively would allow me to be successful, in my case, in the practice of law, but in any other business, right? You cannot be a good problem solver without being a good communicator. You cannot be a good communicator without being a good problem solver. You can, but you're not going to be as successful. You're not going to get the traction and the mileage and the following and the customers and the clients and the investors that you're going to need to get if you haven't mastered those 2 skills. So that was the seed of this contest. That's what sort of sprouted it all from that idea. And so Molly and I got together and decided we were going to have a contest, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And I think I was telling Jeff out in the lobby that I keep getting new sort of epiphanies about why this contest is important and why at least I feel we need to keep it going. And one of them is that here are 34 students who rose to the top of that field, right? And we asked them to do something that they kind of already do at school, write essays. You love writing essays, right? So you're already doing it, right? But all we asked you to do was do it in a problem-solving essay. And you have one page. You have 600 words, right? And give it the best you got, right? We gave you almost no other parameters, almost no other rules. We gave you the scorecard. The scorecard was put together by the teachers and the advisory board as the elements of communicating and problem solving that we felt would be the most measurable and the most important. And you saw that. You looked at that scorecard, you said, okay, we're being graded on the choice of the problem, on logic, on spelling, on evidence, on our ability to problem solve. You saw that, and that was it. And then you were off to the races. And now we're going to reward you for that. And we're going to give you a bunch of money. And we're, there's going to be a memory, I think, I hope, that will have crystallized in your minds about how good it is to have these skills and how important it is to have these skills, which you all obviously all have. But those are skills that you have to continue to develop, you have to continue to evolve and continue to use as much as possible. And so I had that thought, and then I had another one, and I'll share it with you, and then I'll be quiet. And give the microphone to Jeff, or to Molly, and then Jeff. So the thing is, this year we did it a little bit differently by letting the students choose the problem they wanted to solve. In prior years, first year it was cyberbullying. Some of you wrote in those essays. I've seen your names before. The second year was texting and driving. This year we decided we're going to let the students choose their own problems to solve. And we had no clue how that was going to play out. There were definitely going to be challenges to that because you have 200 judges all playing off of the same playbook, all grading students who are all trying to solve one problem. It's easier than having 200 judges grading students solving 1,000 different problems, right? So that was going to be a challenge. Then there was the challenge of, okay, well, how do you grade a student's ability to choose a problem? Some students have a problem that they've selected that is of paramount importance to them, the most important thing in their life. Other students couldn't care less about that problem, right? And that's what, well, we decided that that's part of the adventure, right? You guys will have to figure that out. You'll have to figure out what the judges want to read, and you'll also have to figure out which problem to choose that has the most impact, right? So they did that. And if you go out into that hallway, there's a placard there that has a word cloud on it. I don't know if you guys saw that. Oh, it is the program. Good, thank you. So what that did is, so Nellie fed all of their essays, and it was all 1,500, right, Nellie, or was it just the 34?
Just the answers they gave for the problems they chose, not the text of the essay.
Right, but was
Just
it
the problem.
Was it all 1,500 essays?
Yes.
Okay, so Nellie fed the 1,500 essay problems into this program, and it spit out this word cloud. And the more often a problem showed up, the bigger it shows up in the word cloud. So you probably see guns in there. There's suicide. Yeah, thanks, Paul. Shooting, suicide, sleep, stress, addiction, drugs, vaping, which I totally agree with, bullying. But I'm thinking to myself, right, here we are trying to teach these students how to solve problems, but they actually are teaching us what's on their mind. And that's huge. And that's something we could have never really gotten without doing it this way this year. So that was huge. And then related to that is the fact that they didn't start these problems, right? I mean, these problems that they didn't happen overnight, right? Opioids and school shootings and teen suicide, that didn't happen yesterday. That didn't happen while they were in high school. That happened on our watch, right? And we are going to spend the rest of our lives trying to solve them. And we may or may not. They're going to try to solve them using the rest of their lives, right? And that was the other half of that realization is we're getting them to start thinking about problem solving now in a way that's going to be successful, that's going to help them be successful in business down the road, using problems that they didn't start but which they're going to have to fix, right? And starting that process, starting that thinking is a special thing. And I know I speak for Jeff and Molly and all of the other judges here when I say I can't wait to see how this plays out. I can't wait to see how you guys solve these problems that you didn't start. But I know that we've started you down that road, and we know that you're good enough to apply the skills that have gotten you into those chairs right there in a way that will actually solve those problems. So it's going to be fun to watch you do it, and I know that you can do it. So do it. All right. Okay. With that, I am going to tell you how the rest of the night's going to go. So I'm going to first pass the phone. I keep calling it a phone. I don't know why. I'm going to pass the mic over to Molly. Then we're going to watch a video that Sara Shookman made because she couldn't be here today. Then we're going to give the phone. We're going to give the mic to Jeff Hoffman, and he's going to speak some words of wisdom. And then we're going to present you with awards, which is another really good lesson that I think we can all pass on to these students, which is the lesson of patience and having to sit still, waiting for the payoff a few minutes from now. We're going to bring up our celebrity panel of final round judges and sponsors, and they're going to present you with the awards. And then we're going to have a drawing at the end for, so hopefully everyone put their names on raffle tickets and on business cards into this fishbowl over there, good, because somebody is going to win, is it 2 nighs?
There will be 2 prizes for an overnight at Bertram Inn with a bottle of wine. So 2 people will win that. And then 2 $50 gift certificates. $50 gift to Pause, which is at the Bertram. If you haven't stayed at the Bertram, it's amazing. It's in Aurora, and so we're going to give those away. And then, is Mike Geyer here? Mike? Yeah, we're going to give it away for him. So Mike runs a career testing and counseling company, and it costs, like parents pay him like $400 to test their kids and to counsel them, and we're going to give away one of his programs to one of you guys. So that'll be another drawing. And then I'm going to have a couple of very short final comments, and I'm going to break some interesting news to you guys, and then we're all going to go home. Okay? Make sense? And we're going to try to do that all before 8 o'clock. I think it can be done. All right, with that, Molly, quit playing on your phone. Come on up. That's a phone. That's a mic.
Molly Gebler, ladies and gentlemen.
So the good thing is I'm not an attorney and I don't charge by the minute. So I'm going to be very brief. And I love you, Alex. Love you. So thank you guys. So I'm the executive director of the Chagrin Valley Chamber, and obviously we jumped right on this essay contest because it is mentoring the future business leaders of our country, and we want to be a part of that. It also allowed our chamber members to judge and be a part of these students as well. So congratulations on behalf of the Chagrin Valley Chamber. You guys made us think, and you brought up some great problems in this world. And you know, I think it got us thinking as judges. I know I read a few essays, but it certainly got us thinking, and I'm happy to see that this generation is thinking about them and trying to solve them, and that's what this essay contest is about. I know you guys have your phones and you text a lot, so it may have been difficult to actually sit at the computer and write 600 words out, but you guys did a great job, and we appreciate it. The only time this group smiled, Alex, is when you said money. Just so we've been watching them, and when you said money, they all just ear to ear smiled. So money, 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 and congratulations to all of you guys, and congratulations to the parents. I'm a firm believer that it starts from the home, and you guys have raised some amazing young individuals, so congratulations.
Thanks, Molly. All right, so as I said, Sara Shookman from WKYC could not be here, but she was a final round judge, and she recorded this little message just for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sara Shookman here at WKYC. I'm sorry that I had to be on the news tonight and I'm not able to join you in the celebration. Thank you so much for including me as a guest judge for this final round of the We Solve Problems essay contest. Reading through all of your essays, I was so inspired by the work you're doing to find solutions. At Channel 3, we call it seeing the possible. It's when you see how something is in the community and how it could be better. And you all did that through each of the topics you selected, the research you did, and the writing and editing, all the work that you put into the essays you submitted to the contest. And I truly enjoyed getting to read them, and you gave me faith in this next generation. I think there's a lot of good writers out there. Might want to think about a journalism job. Thanks again for including me, and congratulations to all of the finalists and the big winner tonight.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you, Sara Shookman. All right, so Jeff Hoffman, amazing guy. He has given us a lot of his time for this essay contest, and that's valuable time. The State Department sends him around the world to talk to business owners and entrepreneurs, and so any opportunity we have to be around him is time really well spent. He always has a really great message. So Jeff, thank you for coming up and sharing it, and it's your turn.
All right, so actually, it was really a cool thing because I got to call the U.S. State Department and cancel a trip to Sri Lanka this week because it was so important for me to be here. And I want to tell you guys why this is so important to us. It's all about, and the first time that Molly and Alex called and told me about this contest, and again, I want to add my thanks to all the volunteers because there's no way we can do this without this community stepping up to help. But we're all stepping up to help because we care about you guys. And what this is about, again, the title of this is the We Solve Problems Essay Contest. And what we are trying to do with this is to get you guys to realize every day, everywhere you go, there are problems. We all see problems every day. And what most of the world does is complain, right? You go home and on your social media, you complain about something. And you talk about it, and no one does anything about it. And what we're trying to do is get you to realize it's you. And you're responsible. This is your world, right? You have a choice. You can wait and see what your future brings, or you can just design it. And we want you to design your future. We want you to own it. We want you to make things better. And that only happens when you become problem solvers. And I'll tell you really quickly, for me, it happened one day when I was watching TV, and I was watching a news story, and the news story was about a shelter for abused women. And on TV, all the women were crying, and the news reporter was there, and so I stopped the channel. And I was going to see what was I was actually having a bad day, and I was going to watch a game, sports on TV, to get away from everything. And when I saw this news story of all these women crying in this house, I stopped because I thought it must have been a murder, a crime. And what it was a shelter for abused women who had nowhere else to go. And they were allowed to live in this house free, but they ran out of money. And the women were crying because they were all being sent back to the streets. They had nowhere to go. They hadn't paid the mortgage in 4 months. And the reporter was talking to the women who were saying, you know, I have nowhere to go. He said he'd kill me if he ever saw me again. One woman said her husband broke all of her ribs and she had nowhere else to go. It was a horrible story. And what I wanted was sports to come on, so I didn't think about it. But the news reporter at the end said, well, here's the story. And she turned to the screen and she said, coming up next, sports. And think about that. That's the world we live in. One day I was watching a story about the Indonesian tsunami. And the reporter said, Indonesian death toll hits 90,000. Coming up next, the big game. And here's what happened when that happened. I was watching that and I thought something everybody in this entire room has thought. I thought they should help those women. And something occurred to me. If everybody who sees a problem, any problem in the world, says they should help those people, who helps those people? Nobody does, because everybody says, man, they should help those people. So you know what? I stood up that day and I wrote something on my wall that's still written there. I don't mean my Facebook wall, I mean I wrote it on my real wall, that's why it's still there. There's no delete button in the house. I wrote these 4 words. I wrote, there is no they. Okay, because there is no they. They don't make the world better. They don't solve any of the problems that you guys talked about. There is no they, it's you. You have got to take ownership and become a problem solver. And that's why we're doing this contest, and that's why we appreciate everybody's support of this so much. Our hope is that you realize that instead of complaining and talking like everyone around you does, you're the one that solves the problem. We wanted you to realize that your ideas, I don't care how young you are. We don't care how young, old, male, female, black, white, Christian, Muslim. The power of an idea doesn't know any of those things. A great idea is a great idea no matter who came up with it. So we want you to realize your ideas are important as anybody else's. It doesn't matter that you're young. You might have a brilliant idea, and you did. You guys had all of us that read essays in this room, and if you haven't, you should read them on the wall out there. Looked at stuff and said, wow, I would have never even thought of that. We need you to solve problems. We need you to realize, all of you, not just the 34 here, you did a really good job of it, but all 1,500 and all the students everywhere, that it's your future, and you've got to make it. You've got to design it, and you've got to build it. I have been spending time working with youth all over the world. That's pretty much what I do for a living. And I just want to give you some examples of what happens when you guys say, I can solve this problem. When you guys come up with a solution. I'm going to tell you 3 of the young people that I mentor today and problems that they solved around that they're doing. There's one young girl that thinks, this one's here in the US, who didn't like the fact that we raise animals and sometimes they live in horrible conditions just so we can then kill them and eat them. Right? That was her stance. So you know what she did? She didn't just talk about it, and she didn't just complain about it. She came up with an idea, and I'm going to skip the details, but you know what she's doing now? She's not much older than you. She has a company where she is literally, guys, for real, she is growing meat from animal cells without having to raise the animals. You don't have to birth the animal, raise it, and then kill it, but she's actually creating the meat from the cells of the animals without having to have the animal go through a whole life in bad conditions and die. Incredible. Because she said, this is a problem and I'm going to do something about it. There's another young man that I met in West Africa, and he saw the stories you guys might have seen recently, that the last male white rhino, the rare white rhino, let's try to say that fast, the last male rare white rhino just died. And somebody, and they're killing rhinos, poachers are killing them. So that's on the news, right? You see that the poachers are killing all the rhinos because they sell the horns. So what did this young man say? What does everybody else say when they see a problem? Someone should save the rhinos. This young man, not much more than your age, said, no, there is no they. I'm going to do something about it. You know what he did? He's launched a company. You guys will love this. He manufactures fake rhino horns, and we flood the market in Africa with them. So rhino poaching is literally going down thanks to one kid your age, because the buyers, 9 out of every 10 horns they have are fake, but they can't tell till they've already paid it. Then they grind it up and say, this isn't even a real rhino horn, I'll buy something else. Single-handedly, one kid your age came up with a way to reduce poaching by manufacturing fake rhino horns and distributing all over the market. There's another young girl that I mentor. She's in South America. She's in Peru. She found out that unlike you guys in Northeast Ohio, the young girls in that part of the world, the poor ones, they don't get to go to school. Her parents literally said, when they live in houses made out of trash. I kid you not, I go there several times a year to visit them. They assemble a house out of whatever trash they can find. And this young girl, again your age, teenage girl, said to her mother one day, what's my future? And her mother said, you're looking at it. And she said, wait, I'm gonna be a mom in a trash house? And her mother said, there aren't really options. She said, what about my brother? And the parents said, we'll send him to school. She said, wait, I'm smarter than him, why not me? You know what? This is a fact. In South America, young women don't get the chance to go to school in the poor parts of the country like young men do. So what did this girl do? She didn't complain about it. She said, I'm going to do something about it. Again, in the interest of time, I will skip the details, but let me tell you what she's doing now. I've been mentoring this girl for years. She started coding schools. In an illegal building she was squatting in with computers that people throw out. She goes up into the mountains. I actually spoke to her earlier today before I came over here. She goes up into the trash cities. She interviews the teenage girls in South America and Peru. She picks the smartest ones. They walk 2.5 hours every morning from the slums into the city, and she teaches them to write code. She started her own coding school. These girls, it takes her 6 months. They walk 2.5 hours back home. 5 hours a day they walk through the mud from the trash cities into the city because Mariana wanted to solve the problem. She has graduated hundreds of girls. If any of you here go like at Odesk, Elance, one of these online sites, and you hire somebody to build your website, it might be 3 16-year-old girls in Peru, right? They're so good you can't tell the difference. They make so much money now that they're moving their parents into houses with electricity and running water because one girl wanted to solve the problem. We want you to live a great life. The way to live a great life is to actually have an impact, to go out and do something so when you guys look back one day, you say the world was a little better because I was in it. And that's what problem solvers do. And I'll just share one more thing with you and then we'll get to the awards. Being a problem solver is also the path for you guys to live any life you want. It's the path to live an epic life. When you learn how to solve problems, there's no place you can't get to and nothing you can't do. I'll give you my example really quickly. My goal, when I was in, I think it was 7th grade, we read a Mark Twain book. And Mark Twain had a quote, but I'll paraphrase for you guys. But Mark Twain said that travel is the fatal enemy of prejudice. And when I read that, my teacher said, what do you think that means? And I thought, here's what it means. If I could get out of, we live in a bubble here in Northeast Ohio. This is a nice place to live. But the rest of the world isn't so lucky. If I could travel and meet people who don't look like me, and visit their families and go to their homes, I would be a better person because hate comes from ignorance, right? And ignorance comes from just lack of knowledge. So I decided my life's goal, and I want to know what your guys is. What do you want to do with your life that'll make your life epic? You know what mine was? I said, for me to become the person I want to be, I have to go see the world. I have to go visit people around the world. My goal in life was to travel to 50 countries before I die. And again, that's just mine. We want to hear yours. But how do you achieve the life you want to achieve? How do you get to do the things you want to do? The answer is become a problem solver. So I thought, if I could solve a problem that would enable me to travel, right, then I would get to do that. So you heard Alex mention before, one of the companies I was part of is Priceline.com. We started a travel company. It's a company that today does business in 200 countries around the world. What I did, even before that company, was I looked at the travel industry and I said, how do I solve problems this industry has? And I came up with solutions, right? Because there is no they. I said, I'm going to fix these things. I came up with solutions, started a company, and today I've been to, I think I was just in Paraguay, and that was my country number 92 of the 50 countries I want to visit before I die. Solve problems, and you can design any life you want. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big music fan, and I love music. I'm a software engineer by trade. So when I told friends I want to do music stuff, they literally said to me, Jeff, you're an engineer, you can't do anything in the music business. But, I'm going to say it again, if you guys become effective problem solvers, there's nothing you can't do. And there's nowhere you can't go. So you know what I did? I researched the music industry, and I studied it. And I asked everybody that works in it, give me a list of problems that the industry has that are hard to solve. And then I went out and figured out how to solve some problems the music industry has. And when I was done, I wound up creating. My goal was to be around music. We wound up creating our own music company. We did tours. I know you guys might be a little old for this, but Molly still likes it. We did tours with, we did 2 NSYNC tours with Justin Timberlake and NSYNC. We did a Britney Spears tour. We did Backstreet Boys. We did Beyonce. We did Nelly and some Jay-Z. I wound up getting to go tour with all these people because I became a problem solver that added value to the industry that I wanted to be in, right? And you know, a couple of years ago, we had like one of the coolest moments ever, which is we won a Grammy. And I was standing on the Grammy red carpet. As you guys know, I was shouting out some love for Cleveland, because I wasn't sure if we had how many Grammy winners we had that year from Cleveland. But I was thinking, how did I get from here, from my home here, I live near you guys here in Northeast Ohio, to the red carpet and the Grammys where we actually won? And the answer is because I became a problem solver that was able to, that you want to be valuable to the people that you want to be around in the world. You know, I recently in the music biz wound up, some of the people that I'm fans of, I wound up last time I was in LA, I wound up at Christina Aguilera's house having dinner, and I said to her, what do I owe this honor? And she said, I got a problem in the industry, and everyone says you're the go-to person. So what's the message tonight of this whole contest? We want you to be the go-to people. We want you to be the girl that knows how to fix that problem. We want you to design the future that you guys want to have. We want you to live the life that you want to have. And you're going to get there by taking ownership, by realizing there is no they, it's you. It's your future, it's your world, so you guys should build it the way you want it. We are proud of you, everybody in this room. We're proud of all the entrants, but 34 of you, you're the top 2% of people that attacked a problem and came up with a solution. Now what we're hoping you're going to do is take that attitude of not being passive, of saying, next time I see a problem, I'm going to be the one to solve it. Just take it on. This one's mine. I got this. I'm going to fix that problem, like the girl did with the meat, the guy with the rhino horns, and the girl with the coding school. Solve a problem in the world, and you guys will be able to live any life you want to live. We're proud of you. Congratulations, and let's get to the awards. Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't give Jeff nearly the right introduction early on. Among his many businesses that he's been affiliated with and inventions that he's been affiliated with, my favorite is this story that he tells where he would, when he was younger, wanted to travel a lot, and he would be standing in lines waiting for the ticket person at the terminal, right, to give him his ticket. And people would be missing flights all the time because, remember, before there were kiosks, that was the way they got tickets. And when they got backed up, you just got stuck. So Jeff just started walking around going, I bet you a kiosk could do this. And so he created the kiosks, and he was part of the group that created the kiosks that you see at the airport now. And then sold them to like KLM and got to travel all over the world with them. So anyway, problem solving at its best right here at its highest level. All right. Thank you. All right, so let's get to the awards. So here's what's at stake, kids. All finalists here are going to receive a folder from one of the presenters that's going to come up here, and we're going to give them each a folder. Inside the folder are going to be proclamations from Congressman David Joyce's office and from Governor Kasich's office, and I totally screwed up and forgot to get one from
Rep Anielski, and so that's my bad. Kasich has one. Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I should be allowed. So, Kasich's going to have proclamations for the winner in each grade and the runner-up. Dave Joyce has one for everybody, right? Thank you. All right. They also get $50 in cash. They get a good thing to put on their resume, and they get good bragging rights, and you get wings from Buffalo Wild Wings, who has provided wings, free wings, for all of you and everyone else who made it to the second round. So thank you, Buffalo Wild Wings. Right. If you were a runner-up, so every grade is going to have a grade level winner. That's the person who wrote the best essay, at least according to the final round judges and the advisory board. And so that person is going to get $1,000. The runner-up is going to get a Toshiba laptop with a value of about $550 and a prize package from the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Monsters. Those include Monsters tickets, the Cavs bags. One of them has a signed Dwayne Wade hat, which I was trying to figure out if you sign a hat with your team and then get traded, does the value of the hat go up? I think it does, right? It's a collector's item now. So one of you guys is going to get an autographed Dwayne Wade Cavs hat that I think is going to be worth a lot of money. The overall winner of the entire contest, right? So we take the 4 grade level winners, and one of you is going to be the overall winner. That person gets another $1,000 for a total of $2,000. And that person will go with me next Tuesday. So whoever you are, figure out what you're doing next Tuesday at 2:15 to NPR, where Daryl Snipes and Rick Jackson are going to do an interview with you and me, and you're going to read your essay on TV, and it's going to be on the Idea Stream television show, which will show up that night on PBS and end up on the internet. It's really cool. And then each participating school, every one of your schools, those 6 schools, will also get $1,000. So we're going to bring up the superintendents and the principals who are here, and the English teachers who are here, and we're going to give them each a check for $1,000. And then the school whose student was the overall winner is going to get another $1,000. So whichever one of you guys is the overall winner will also have earned for your school another $1,000. So we're giving away $15,000 today. And the runners-up who are receiving laptops, so Toshiba was supposed to have them here, but I don't know what happened. They are coming to your house, right? So you are getting, the runner-up gets a brand new Toshiba laptop, but it's going to get shipped to you, all right? All right, so we're going to go grades 9, then 10, 11, and 12. Here's the way this is going to work. Actually, I think what we're going to do, we were going to have the proclamation read from Dave Joyce's office first. All right, so thank you, Nellie, for reminding me. So someone from Dave Joyce's office is here. Katie Berger, thank you. I shouldn't be allowed to do announcements like this. Katie Berger is from United States Congressman Dave Joyce's office, who has given us these nice proclamations, and Katie is going to read them to you, or read one of them to you. Here you go, Katie. Katie Berger.
Good evening. So on behalf of Congressman Joyce and our staff, we would like to present these proclamations to you. So it's a certificate of congressional recognition and achievement presented to the students in recognition of being a finalist in the 2018 We Solve Problems Essay Contest hosted by the Gertsburg Law Firm and the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce. So congratulations.
All right, so ninth graders are going to be, I'm going to call out your name, you're going to come up here, but let me get up here Dustin Russell from Governor John Kasich's office. Right? Just got to do a selfie. It's usually Molly doing the selfie. I don't know what's going on.
All right, thanks.
So when I call your name, you're going to come up here, and then Dustin is going to hand you a folder, and then you're going to sit back down. And then after you sit back down, I'm going to hand the microphone over to Dustin, who is going to say a few words and is going to announce the names of the runner-up and their school, who will then stand up, take some applause, sit back down, and then he's going to announce the 9th grade winner. And that person needs to come up here, okay? I'll walk you through this as we go. All right, so for now, let's get the 9th grade finalists up here. That would be Jeremy Kavanaugh from Chagrin Falls High School. Callie Connor from Aurora High School. Lila Julian from Brexville Broadview Heights. Yeah, I would say just head on back. Head on back. Yeah. Jade Croyne from Chagrin Falls High School. Siobhan Pearson from Brexville Broadview Heights, but who is not here today. Is that right? There's no Siobhan there, right? Thank you, Siobhan, for writing such a good essay anyway. And Hannah Schlebeck from Aurora High School. Some really good essays there. I read them, they were fantastic. All right, so now I'm going to pass the mic over to Dustin Russell from Governor Kasich's office, and he will say a few words and then announce the runner-up and then the grade level winner.
Great. What an exciting event to be here in this community, to participate in this great local partnership that has just blossomed over the last few years. It's really awesome to see this. And I've read most of the essays that were posted on the wall out there, just absolutely outstanding work. And just one personal observation, as you continue to implement the solutions to the problems that you've identified, maybe file this away. 10, 15 years down the road, pull it out and read it and see how things have changed. Kind of progress that was made, how your thinking has changed, for the better, for the worse, whatever. Just a suggestion. I think you might find some value in that to see how things progress over time. On behalf of the Governor of the State of Ohio, Governor John Kasich, congratulations to all of the participants and to the winners this evening. It is a pleasure for the Governor to recognize you through the proclamations that you've received, and so you should be all very proud of yourself. For the grade 9 runner-up, Layla Julian. It's my high honor and distinct privilege to recognize the 9th grade level winner, Jeremy Kavanaugh.
Jeremy's essay was amazing. You got to read it out there. It's fantastic. All right. So on to grade 10. And for grade 10, we're going to bring up Jen Leonard from Burntwood Tavern. Personally cooked all of that for the past 8 hours. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to call up the 10th graders. You're going to come up. Jen's going to hand you your folder, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to Jen to read the names of the runner-up and the grade level winner, just like Dustin did. All right, grade 10. Lauren Callahan from Aurora High School. Macy Chamberlain from Kenston High School. She called and she said she couldn't be here. Right? She's not here, right? Right. Sayan Coco from Orange High School. All right. So, Anna Eichelberger from Kenston High School, who will also accept her award and Macy Chamberlain's award because she's friends with Macy. Thank you, Anna. Grace Lee from Chagrin Falls High School. Ishank Raghavan from Brecksville Broadview Heights. Ashley Ruhr from Aurora High School. Molly Sabota from Chagrin Falls, who last year was the grade 9 winner. Now she's in 10th grade, she's the finalist. 2 years in a row for Molly. Kate Safronis from Orange High School, also returning. She was a 2017 9th grade finalist last year. Nice job, Kate. Catherine Walter from Aurora High School. And Mia Sivkovic from Brecksville Broadview Heights. So, Burntwood Tavern, like I said, has just been an amazing supporter pretty much from day one, from the first time we did this. And made that fantastic food out there, and I can't wait to eat it because I haven't yet. But Jen Leonard is here from Burntwood Tavern, Director of Marketing there, I think, right? So Jen Leonard.
I want to interrupt for 1 second. I do want to mention that Burntwood Tavern was the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year. So a big round of applause. Yes. And I'm standing right next to another winner who was the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce Member of the Year. So powerhouse is right here.
Well, thank you, Molly, and thank you to the Chamber and Alex for putting on such an incredible event and opportunity for our kids. I assure you that when we opened Burntwood just down the street 8 years ago, we didn't open it with a singular mindset of solving the problem of where you were going to eat your dinner. We really wanted to offer experiences for all of you to come in and dine with us and share maybe graduation with your kids or a celebratory dinner. Or just to watch the game. So, and through the support of all of you, our guests, we have grown to 12 restaurants and 3 different concepts. And with the support of all of you, we have been able to give back to our community. It's been we are a privilege to be able to partner with local charitable organizations and our schools to enhance our community and those events that our guests care about. So thank you very much for your support. Again, we're grateful to be able to give back to all of you. So with that said, drum roll please, grade 10, and congratulations to all of you. What a great honor it is for all of you to be up here. Our runner-up from Orange High School, Kate, say it, Safronis. grade level winner. From Chagrin Falls High School, Grace Lee.
Shrimp at Burntwood Tavern, you have not lived. I'm going to tell you right now, it's the best in the world.
And half off during happy hour every day.
It's so good. I don't know what they put in there, but man, it's good. All right, for grade 11, is Derrick Speights here from EDWINS? There he is. All right, Derrick. So, I don't know if you guys know about EDWINS, is an amazing problem solver too. EDWINS Leadership Institute is in Shaker Square. It's a restaurant. It was founded by a guy named Brandon Kristowski, who was here earlier but couldn't stay. And the idea behind EDWINS is that Brandon, who has this passion for French culinary cuisine, and brought another guy on with him, we're going to pull convicted felons who were in prison out of there and teach them how to cook, and teach them how to work in restaurants, and teach them how to bartend, and work them through this, is it a 6-week program? 6-month program, which is pretty rigorous, and get them basically out from behind bars and into the business world. And it is the best food. It's so good. And the atmosphere is amazing. And they actually made a documentary about Brandon and EDWINS called Knife Skills that was up for an Oscar this year. And that's an amazing, it was up for Best Short Documentary. Should have won. You totally should have won. It was amazing. But you should watch it. It's really cool. Anyway, so we are honored to have Derrick and Brenda. Brenda, you told me earlier. Derrick and Brenda from EDWINS here today. And we are going to read off the 11th graders who will come up, and Derrick and Brenda will hand you your folders, and then I'm going to give them the mic to read off the winners. So, grade 11, Andrew Clark from Brecksville, Broadview Heights. Billy Lime from Kenston High School. Avery Houston from Chagrin Falls High School. Is Avery here? Avery, my note says it might be late. It might be very late. Alex Hubert from Kenston High School. Peyton Lewis from Chagrin Falls. Megan Ludit from Brecksville, Broadview Heights. Rakin Raman from Aurora. Carly Saleh from Aurora. Ethan Sands from Orange. And finally, Adam Turpak from Orange. All right. So, Derrick, you're going to call out the...
High school is Ethan Sands. And to announce the grand winner, I'm going to hand the microphone, or telephone as it's been called this evening, over to Brenda Newsome. Thank you.
Congratulations to Andrew Clark from Brecksville Broadway.
At EDWINS, maybe like a month ago, and we had our meal there, and it was an amazing meal. And all of the spoons had this little notch in them, right? We couldn't figure it out. They all had a notch in the exact same spot. And Molly and I, boy, we must have come up with about 20 theories for what that notch was for.
We're not fancy people.
We're not fancy.
It's a place like that.
So we asked one of your colleagues, finally, we broke down, and we asked him, what is the deal with these notches? And he goes, watch this. And he takes the spoon and he scrapes it across the bowl, and it picks up every last piece of sauce, every last drop on the bowl, wipes it completely clean. So the French figured that out. They solved that problem, how to get all the sauce off of your plate. Brilliant. Brilliant. All right. Finally, grade 12. Did we do it? We just did 11, right? We did 11. All right. Don't mess me up, Molly. Grade 12, I'm going to bring up here Vadim Kleyner. No, sorry, LJ Marhefka. Sorry, Vadim. LJ Marhefka. LJ Marhefka is Executive Vice President at North Coast Auto Mall, which is a huge, huge supporter of our contest. Also, just one of the best dudes you'll ever meet. I mean, this guy is an inspiration to me, and I'm thrilled to be sharing the stage with him. LJ, come on over. I'm going to call the grade 12 students up, and then I'll hand the mic over to you. From Brecksville Broad, this says might be late. Trent Boyne, are you here? Ah, Trent's here. Brecksville Broad. Wesley Burns from Kenston High School. Caroline Drinko from Brecksville Broadview Heights. Lauren Eiler from Kenston. Gregory Global from Beechwood. So I got to tell you about Gregory, right? So originally Beechwood was supposed to be one of the schools, right? And it just didn't happen. For whatever reason, Beechwood just couldn't get our program out to everyone. So Gregory was like, I don't care, I'm going to submit an essay anyway. And look at him, he's a finalist now. I think we got two essays from Beechwood, right? Just because we had them listed originally as a participating school. I like that tenacity, Greg. Anastasia Kankovskaya from Chagrin Falls High School. And finally, Ali Kovac from Chagrin Falls High School. All right, so I'm going to hand the mic over to LJ, and he'll say a few words. I can't wait to hear what they are. And then he's going to announce the runner-up and the grade level winner.
Thank you, Alex. How about a round of applause for Alex Gertsburg? By the way, this is not as easy as it looks, and I thank you. And how about a shout out to Nellie? I figured it out. I see what's going on here. Nellie's the glue that keeps all of this together. Molly, my new best friend, right? Thank you. And Jeff, two great things. There is no they,
Is that like a great takeaway? Let's clap for this guy. Thank you. And one time, just how about let's clap for the kiosk in the airport? I appreciate that very much. A message for you. I've seen you smile a few times now, okay? Smile with me. You guys have figured something out. That's why you're here. But there's a challenge that I have for you. Not all of your peers have figured it out in the same way that you have. So my challenge for you is to become leaders. You solve problems. Not everyone can, right? So you become leaders. You've got a lot figured out. Our company is a small company, about 400 employees. I want to respectfully disagree just for a second with Alex. If you recall, if you were listening, I get it if you weren't, it's a long night. Alex said that for him to succeed, solving a problem and communication were key. Jeff mentioned it. He said people complain. I've been around people that are really good communicators that really complain, right? So communication in and of itself isn't the answer, right? It's the effective communication, the way that you've learned to communicate. Teach others, right? Be leaders. Help other people figure it out. For everyone here tonight, I have a request for you. These kids have figured it out, largely because of you and the people around them. A lot of people haven't, right? Biggest quality we look for, biggest skill set outside of the core skills in employment at our organization is problem solving. We try to learn if we have a problem solver in front of us or not. So here's my request for everyone here, and I want you to share this request as you go through life. Stop solving problems for your kids. Instead, give them problems to solve. Fair enough? That's my request, because I've seen how me, as a parent, we love our children so much. We want so little pain for them that we solve every problem for them, and we're not helping them solve problems on their own. So give your friends, give your peers, give your children, give the community more problems to solve, and let's stop solving problems for them. Thank you. Hold on a second. Hello? Alex is a little tied up right now. All right, with no further ado, runner-up, Chagrin Falls High School, Anastasia Takovskaya. And the moment we've been waiting for, the winner from Chagrin High School, Ali Kovac. I'll make sure you get the check.
LJ Marhefka, ladies and gentlemen. Salt of the earth. All right, so the next thing I want to do is get the schools up here to pick up their checks. So for that, we are going to call up
See, I got too much paper up here. I believe. Representative Anielski, come on up. Sorry, I'm sorry. And those are not so good. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
It is a mess up here.
It is so messy. It's ridiculous. I don't know how I find anything. Okay, so I know a couple of the folks who are here, but I haven't seen all of the rest of them. So I don't know. We'll call up the schools, and whoever shows up will show up. But I know Nancy Santilli from Kenston is here, so come on up, Nancy. Nice job. Thank you. Yeah. There you go. All right. Thanks, Nancy. So, there are two podcasts, episodes that you have to listen to, and one of them is with Nancy, and one of them is with Nancy and Bob Hunt together. And there's this great part of the first one that Nancy did with us. Kenston High School at that time was dealing with like building problems and roof problems, and I asked Nancy how she could possibly be a superintendent when there are so many constituencies, right? There's students that you have to look out for, and there's teachers and the teachers unions, and then you got the state of Ohio, and then you've got, you know, all the other staff and parents, and everybody always has their own agenda, and they're all looking at the superintendent to do what is on their mind. And I said, Nancy, I don't know how you do that, and I don't know how you keep it all straight. And she gave me the best answer. She said, Alex, it's easy when the only constituency you think about is the students, right? That's the only, above and beyond every other stakeholder there, the students are the ones I think of first. And I thought, well, that does keep things simple. That does, and I think that's the right way to be. And I know our next guy, Bob Hunt, thinks the same way. So Bob Hunt, Superintendent of Chagrin Falls. Thanks, Bob.
Did you get your text?
Bob coming here straight from a board meeting. From Aurora High School, I think Melissa Lindley is here. Are you? Yes, perfect. Hi, Melissa, come on up. Oh, that's right. So our printer, you get a real check, but you don't get an oversized check. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. That was. There you go. Perfect. Solve the problem. That right there is why you're a legislator, right there. Solving problems. Okay, from Orange High School, Kathy Frazier should be here somewhere. There she is. Come on up, Kathy. Kathy is an English teacher, I believe, at, is that right? Do I have that right? A gifted ed teacher, right? Wants to be an English teacher, but is really gifted ed. And then lastly, from Newberry High School, is Michelle here? Michelle Benson, is anyone here from Newberry? Newberry does not get money. They will not get paid. Brecksville Broadview Heights. Is Steve Ost here? Or anyone from Brecksville Broadview Heights? Someone from Brecksville Broadview Heights. Steve must be out mowing lawns or something like that. There were others. Gotcha. Thank you, Brecksville Broadview Heights. Thank you.
I know everyone's ready to go, right? So, and you've heard a lot of advice today, a lot of advice. And I see some glazed eyes, so we can see that from the audience. So remember that when you're sitting up here, we can notice that. But one thing is, since you wrote your essays, I challenge you, make sure they're implemented. Make sure they're implemented. Just don't do the writing, but make sure you go beyond that. And when you go beyond that, everyone had all these words of wisdom. I think you should just remember the PP. Does anybody know what PP stands for, besides the obvious? To implement your ideas, always do the PP. Always be politely persistent. Politely persistent. So when you want to get something done, make sure you do it respectfully, but at the same time, you want to get your idea across. And I have been a state legislator for 8 years. I've been a mayor for 10 years. And you always have to mingle in circles maybe you don't feel comfortable in. But if you're respectful and you listen to other people's opinion and communicate it effectively enough, you'll succeed. So congratulations to everyone. And I'm very happy to be one of the judges. And we look forward to reading additional essays next year. Congratulations.
All right, so we're going to get to the end here real quickly. But first, we have to have a drawing. And I'm going to ask Meg Pawkin. So sitting right there are some of the lawyers from my law firm. They're Max Julian, Nick Weiss, Mark Turner, and Meg Pawkin. Best lawyers in town. The best estate planning attorney in town is walking up here. And the reason I want Meg to do this drawing is because the way we know Meg is that her daughter was a finalist in the very first essay contest that we had. So part of what has to happen is that there are releases that have to get signed because we got to put these guys' names up on the internet. We put their school on the internet and we put their essay on the internet. And so I get a call in that first year from a parent who has a lot of questions about the scope of this release, right? And so that's how Meg and I first met. And we had a full-on negotiation over the scope of the release. And Meg was so good at it, I said, I gotta hire her. And sure enough, Meg now works at the Gertsburg law firm. So one of the many byproducts of this essay contest is we find really good lawyers. And I expect some resumes and writing samples from you guys after some of you go to law school. But anyway, so I had to get Meg up on stage so that she could do the drawing for, so this is for 2 overnight stays, 2 tickets for an overnight stay at the Bertram and a bottle of wine and a $50 gift certificate. I should not. I should just give the mic to Nellie. All right, what do we have, Meg?
We have Ford Fram. And we have Janice Raddick.
We'll send it to you. Are these guys here?
Janice and Ford?
Victoria Hudson from Burntwood Tavern, the Bertram is here. I didn't realize you were here, Victoria. Victoria is a judge and a supporter and has graciously given us
these nice gifts. So thank you, Victoria.
Guys, you did an awesome job. It was a pleasure reading your essays, and it's exciting as a parent, and I have little ones, so they're not quite there yet, but it's exciting to see that the future is going to hold so much for them, and you guys are going to make a difference. And the fact that you're doing this now, and you're thinking about it, and you're writing about it, and you're continuing to do it, you're going to make the world a better place. So best to you.
Those donations. All right, and then lastly, Meg is going to draw a student's name out of the bowl for a career testing and counseling session with Mike Geyer. Four sessions. Well, it's a series of sessions. All right, Meg, who did we draw?
We drew Lauren Callahan from Aurora High School.
Come on up. Lauren, you're fine. We're going to hook you up with Mike Geyer. He's going to take it. Congratulations. I hear that's a really cool thing. Meg, thank you very much. All right. Best estate planning attorney in town right there. She won the negotiation, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to bring Vadim Kleyner up on stage. Vadim is the CEO of a company called Smartland. I've known this guy for a really long time. Probably one of the smartest and most innovative businessmen I think I've ever met. He is the embodiment of problem solving and entrepreneurship. And I mean, it's kind of like Jeff, you can't help but be around him and not get smarter. So Smartland is one of the larger real estate investment firms in town. Vadim also, he's one of these guys, kind of like I am, a little ADD, but once he gets focused, he goes all in. And so there's lots of other businesses there that he gets involved in, and he very graciously wrote a check for $4,000 to the essay contest. So we had to have him up here. And he is going to tell us, oh, and he also is a final round judge, that's right. In the first year that we had this contest, he was just a regular judge and read the first round. And at that time, the topic was cyberbullying. And he calls me up one day and he goes, I got to tell you, I took my judging responsibility so seriously that we made it a group discussion at dinner for a full week. And they had read all of their assigned essays with their kids, talked about cyberbullying. I mean, this is like my favorite judge story, right? Everyone could just read their essays like Vadim. Anyway, so Vadim is going to tell us who the overall winner of the entire contest is, and by extension, who the overall winning school of the entire contest is. Right? You got this? All right, I'm going to give you the mic here. Hold on. Not the phone, the mic. So.
The overall grand prize winner is Jeremy Kavanagh, Chagrin Falls High School.
Bob Hunt, why don't you come up? My kids who go to Kenston, Nancy, I tell you this every year, are so mad at me that Chagrin Falls keeps picking up these grand prizes. I get the stink eye after every one of these. I go home and they're like, Dad, come on, back. Anyway, congratulations, Bob. Congratulations, Jeremy. Congratulations to all of you. Probably forgetting something, but
thank you all for making this such an amazing experience. Thank you all for making this happen for the 3rd year, and I just can't wait to see what next year looks like, but I'll give you a little sneak peek. So, earlier today, I'm getting ready for tonight, and obviously, working on my little talk and putting my notes together, and I get a call from Nancy Santilli from Kenston, superintendent. So a few months ago, Bob and Nancy asked Molly and I to come to their office, and they said, we go to this thing every year. We go to this Ohio School Boards Association event in Columbus. And so the Ohio School Boards Association is an organization, the members of which are all the superintendents and all of the school boards in every school district in Ohio. And they said, we go to this event every year, and they have these panel discussions, and they have these presentations, and you can make a proposal to them, and you'll get up there and you'll have an audience to tell about your program. And we want you, Molly and Alex, to go and tell them about your essay contest, because you could really make this thing grow statewide, which seemed pretty crazy, which is exactly why Molly and I said, heck yeah, we're going to do that. And so we put a proposal together, and Nancy called me this afternoon and said that they accepted our proposal, and next November, Molly and I are going to go to Columbus, and we're going to try to convince the entire state of Ohio to adopt this paradigm in putting businesses and schools and students together to solve real-world problems. And we don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we're going to pull it off, because Molly's involved and she's really smart. But that was big news, and so thank you, Nancy and Bob, for bringing that idea to us, and I can't wait to see how much we can blow this thing up. So thank you. Take your essays with you, right? Read them up there. They are going to be up there until they take them. Thank you all. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say real quick. Feedback. Give us your feedback. If you were a judge, if you were a student, if you were a faculty member, if you were a superintendent, if you were a final round judge or a sponsor, we grow this contest only after learning what you liked and didn't like about it, what worked and what didn't work about it. So tell us, share your feedback with us, let us know so we can keep making this thing bigger and better. With that, thank you all for coming. Enjoy your prizes, and thank you all for participating.